Oscar Pistorius' lawyers have agreed to have his psychiatric evaluation report made public. Pistorius was sent for psychiatric evaluation last month after it emerged that he suffered from generalized anxiety disorder. Our specialist reporter Karyn Maughan is here to tell us more about these latest developments. Hi Karyn, how are you? Now, why have Oscar's lawyers taken this decision?
Well, this is the interesting thing. Our understanding is that a lawyer for a media organization have in fact been negotiating with him. You'll remember that it was right at the end of the day earlier this week when the Kenny Oldwage at about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, after excerpts of the findings of that report had been read into the record, made a request that the entire report, apart from the findings, not be made public. Of course, by that time, the report had been widely distributed amongst a number of journalists, including myself. We had tweeted it, so it was widely available on social media, and it really was quite a detailed look into Oscar Pistorius' upbringing, his relationship with family members, included interviews from 16 people linked to his life, detailed sort of psychological, psychiatric tests all contained in that document. The judge agreed to make the order, and she said that anything published before 3:05 p.m. in the afternoon would not be considered in contempt of court, but anything after 3:05 would be. Subsequent to that, a lawyer for a media organization has been negotiating with the defense, and Brian Webber, who is Oscar Pistorius' attorney, has confirmed to eNCA that they have agreed to a redacted version of the report being published. The redactions are just about the names of sources, people that were interviewed for the report, and then a particular paragraph that the defense has an issue with that will not be published in the final report. But almost that report in its entirety will be published. And you'll remember even yesterday, they were reading out excerpts of the report about the 2 Oscars and all that kind of thing. So I think they feel that it is something that may go towards undermining the state's portrayal of Oscar as a selfish, narcissistic, abusive person, and maybe give the public some insight into his character, and that's why they want it to be out there.
All right. Now, what impact could this have on the case?
I don't know if it would necessarily have an impact on the case per se, but I think it's more of a sort of public awareness, maybe public image thing. We saw so strongly with Kerry Nell's cross-examination of Oscar Pistorius this constant rhetoric about, you only care about yourself, you're selfish. This kind of, the case that the state is making is that this was a crime committed by a very narcissistic individual who flew into a fit of rage for undisclosed reasons and knowingly killed his girlfriend behind a toilet door. And what Jonathan Scholtz, who is the head clinical psychologist for Westkoppies, has found, and is supported by these 3 psychiatrists who did the evaluation, is that Oscar Pistorius doesn't bear the personality hallmarks of a typical abusive spouse who commits a so-called rage killing of an intimate partner. He doesn't have that kind of aggression. He doesn't exhibit narcissism or psychopathy, and he doesn't seem to show those kind of signs of personality. So we know that the state now, over the last day, have been consulting with one of the psychiatrists on the panel. We don't know if there's going to be an attempt by the state to put anything further evidence-wise on record to counter the findings of Dr. Scholtz. But I think the feeling is that the kind of insight that this may give into Oscar Pistorius' character may, for the defense, in the defense's eyes, and I'm sure they will argue, undermine the suggestion from the state from the beginning of this case that Oscar Pistorius is a selfish narcissist who killed his girlfriend in a fit of rage.
All right, now the case is back on Monday. What can we expect to hear from on Monday?
Well, it's going to be very interesting because the state, Kerry Nell, asked for a postponement on Thursday till Monday so that he could consult with Carla Kotzer, who's one of the psychiatrists who was actually appointed on behalf for the state on that psychiatric panel of 3 psychiatrists. And he said he wanted to consult with her about her input on the evidence of Dr. Wayne Derman. Of course, was Oscar Pistorius' physician, is an expert on people with disabilities and the kind of vulnerability they feel, etc., etc. But it may well be that also that consultation would concern the report by Dr. Scholtz. And remember, it's always an option for the state. I don't know if it would be something that they would choose to do, but it is an option for the state at the end of the defense closing their case to reopen their case and possibly call their own psychiatric or psychological witnesses to try and perhaps undermine some of those findings of Dr. Scholz, because I've read that report and it is quite sympathetic of Oscar Pistorius, which is obviously why the defense have taken the decision that they have to publicly release it.
All right. Thank you so much, Karyn. Thank you so much.
Know more. eNCA.com